I'm really excited to get to share with you some of the things I've been learning about improv and how it directly correlates to just about all communication we have in life. And specifically, the communication we have with our significant other, with our kids, with our business partner, with our employees. It's all talking to people. And I realize that we sometimes separate the 3 or 4 different areas, friends, maybe a 5th area. But we're all humans. And at the end of the day, everybody wants to pretty much be treated in a certain way. Doesn't matter whether you're at work or at home or at church or with your friend group. And there's some insanely amazing lessons in the principles of improv. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about what improv is, why it's meaningful. We're going to go through some of the qualities of improv. We're going to go through the 5 steps of what it takes to show up to actually do improv and how that directly relates to how we show up in our personal lives. There's kind of an overriding lesson here. And I'm going to try to get some live play action stuff going on. What does that look like? That looks like me bringing in a professional comedian, either with just myself or maybe with some of his friends, and practicing some of these concepts and doing them in a funny way, but also in a way that is applicable to how you can use it in your daily life. So let's dive into the qualities piece of improv. And what I mean by qualities is like, what are the components? What are the principles, the pieces that are shared of what has gotten me so excited about improv? And just in case you don't know what I'm talking about improv, Saturday Night Live, which I'm hoping you've seen if you're on this planet at some point in time in your life, that's not exactly improv. That is scripted, and there's an improv factor because as they get into the moment, things may shift. They may find something funny, somebody trips, they have to just go with it. So there is an improv element, a component to it. But it's not true improv. True improv is where there's been some of these shows, a lot of it on British television, where maybe an announcer gives them a word or some sort of thematic element, a person, place, or thing. And these 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 actors, comedians, have to then spend the next 3 to 5 minutes playing it out with no idea, no scripting, no rehearsing of what it actually, like how to get into a place where they develop a storyline, where they hear each other, see each other, and talk and speak in a way that's not only interesting, but funny. So let's get into the principles here. To do this, it requires deep curiosity. Why is that? Because when you're doing improv, again, improvisation, you're basically making shit up on the fly, right? It's all happening to you. You can't predict it. If we don't have deep curiosity, then without it, we can't have a natural interest in other people's stories, in their perspectives, and in opening ourselves up to a new way of understanding things, right? So this curiosity piece, we've really got to lean into it to be able to foster those things and allow them to come to life. 2, we have to have a connected awareness and yet detached from the outcomes. Because when you show up in this moment, this improv moment, you've got to engage all the way. Those comedians, they play all out. They show up fully present, fully connected, fully aware, but they're completely detached. They don't need to control or predict the results because that would take the fun out of it. They want to see where it goes. They're not steering it. 3, emotional flow. It's so important to, in the moment, embrace the emotions and let them guide your responses, allowing an authentic and spontaneous interaction, right? 4, authenticity. You have to be your unique self. You got to have a point of view. You've got to be somebody that's consistent in the moment, in that, at least in that 5-minute storyline. And really bring a genuine individuality into each of those interactions. And 5, implicit trust. Syncing with others through active listening and understanding to establish a foundation of trust. So let's dissect these a little bit, right? So the first one, deep curiosity. Imagine going home and your wife's trying to tell you, or your husband's trying to tell you something that happened in their day, maybe with your kids. And you're immediately assuming what happened, making judgments, still letting the rest of the day kind of come in. Doesn't work. Deep curiosity is this mandatory component, right? 2, you have to have this connected awareness, right? And be detached from the outcomes. When we are listening to our kids, our partners, even our employees, and we can empathize with them, see them, hear them, and be completely fine that there's no need to understand or control or steer or predict the outcome. It's such a foundational piece to being able to communicate properly. 3rd is getting into the emotional flow. Again, these things kind of cross over each other, but as somebody is telling you a story, because life's about telling stories, everything, we're telling stories all day long. The story may be about something that's happened in their past, or it may just be their perspective. They're telling you about life, about a project, about an experience. It's their story. And naturally, we are emotional beings. Welcome to humanity. That's how it works. So getting into that emotional flow and letting that kind of guide and steer you, and being able to even deeper see somebody else. This is where it allows authenticity to play out, because you're getting vulnerable and you're allowing vulnerability on the flip side. And the deeper we get into authenticity, the more genuine this exchange becomes with somebody else. We're not pretending. We're not making up stories or hiding or telling white lies. And the 5th thing is building implicit trust. It's getting into sync through this active listening practice. Because when you have trust, deep trust, you can't say anything wrong. You can't frustrate the other person or them frustrate you. Because everything is being said out of this place of love and knowing that we're all trying to get to the same place and doing our best, right? Okay, we'll end there. So those are the 5 qualities of improv that really build the foundation of amazing communication with everybody in our life.